Building an app isn't the hard part. Getting people to use the app is the hard part. So just to put it in perspective, 25% of apps are deleted within or looked at being downloaded 30 days. On average, people have 80 apps on their phone. You use about 30 of them like monthly that are kind of infrequently used. And then you've got 9 that are used frequently like weekly, daily. So 25% of apps within 30 days get deleted anyway. And from the remaining, more than half, you use maybe like once a month. So if you make an app for someone, you're really competing with the average people have, which is like 9 apps. So if you think about it, if I'm already using Twitter, Instagram, my banking app, Spotify, Uber, like these are the things you're competing for daily access. So retention really is a difficult thing. So how do you build an app that people actually use? There are really 4 ways to keep people using your app. Some of them are a little bit more psychological, but then some of them are more value driven, and I'll explain which ones and why. The 4 things are understanding triggers, limiting access, deep linking, and emotional blackmail. That will make sense later on. Number 1, the triggers. I am borrowing this concept from a book called Hooked by Eyal. I think I'm saying that right. If you're interested in building apps, I 100% recommend you read this book. It's very informative for how, especially social media apps, have kind of built a dopamine cycle, whereas essentially you have external triggers and internal triggers. And the idea is that the beginning of this funnel of usage, there is an external trigger which prompts you to use an app, and then through doing it, you get a reward which is variable. The whole point of a variable reward is you don't quite know what you're gonna get when you get it. So each time it's exciting because, what am I gonna get? Long story short, it reinforces itself, and in the end, you end up with an internal trigger, which means instead of something external prompting you to use the app, there's something internal, like for social media, I'm kind of bored, let me see what I can find, or for Instagram, hey, I see a really nice image, let me take a picture of it. An example of an external trigger would be, I'm on Instagram and I'm scrolling through and I see people taking great pictures of themselves, and I think, I should really start taking more pictures of myself or of scenery. So I take out my camera and start using it. Over time, as I keep doing this, people like my pictures, I scroll through Instagram, it will become an internal trigger. If I see something pleasant or I pass a mirror and I look good, I'm like, hey, let me just take a picture. And I won't think of using my phone's camera, I'll think of using Instagram's camera. So that's an example of how they built a loop and it became an internal loop. So you have an emotional change and your first instinct is, let me use this app. And number 2, limiting access or something that's time sensitive. Is your app the only place you can get access to something? An example of this in theory is Uber, because it's got the location services on your phone, it's with you wherever you are. If you need to order a taxi to you, there's kind of only really one device that's gonna have that information on the fly wherever you are. In one narrow example would be information products. Now, I don't really believe it's worth making information arbitrage products anymore, which is where you try and build a new community or a new way of accessing information, because it's so easy to upload and access information now. I think you're better off using pre-existing platforms and just building a community. But if it's your information, it's not user-generated content, and you're the only one that has access to information, you can limit it and only give it to app users. An example of this would potentially be a loyalty program. So the Boots loyalty app, so useful. If you shop at Boots and you have the app, you'll get exclusive discounts, you get the point system. It's a really good way of like broadening your depth with a pre-existing user base. Another example is a ticket dispensing system, something that's time sensitive. So if you are a person that wants to get tickets as they get released and then only get sold out, having something on your phone where you can quickly access and buy, you can be notified when there's a change, again, is an example of time sensitive information. If it's the only way to get the information and people want the information, congratulations, you will have a sticky app. Number 3, deep linking. This is where you can share a link to your app and it will link to the actual page in the app. So just a normal link would be, hey, check out this post I made on this app, and it takes you to the app store. A deep link, when I click on it, it opens the app on the page on my app, on my device. This obviously does require 2 people with the app sharing it between themselves, so you need to have both downloaded it. It's not necessarily the best way to get new users, but a deep link kind of ensures that whatever the core value of your app is can be shared very quickly with other people. So do you remember how I said the whole external and internal trigger? An external trigger to this when using an app could be that it's very shareable. So I made something on an app, I share it to someone, they use the app, and over time that becomes an internal trigger. So deep linking is really important. Another way of thinking of deep linking is being able to integrate using other apps with your app seamlessly. People don't really have free time or attention space. Everyone is doing something at all times. If I'm on my phone, I'm not just staring at it. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, you're doing something. So the best way to actually get people to use your service often is, can you siphon their attention when they're already on another platform? There's an app called Basket where you can basically find products online, you can save it to your phone, and what that'll do is it'll give you price updates. If anything changes, you can get discounts and deals. You can cross-recommend similar products, cool stuff like that. Now, when you want to add a product, instead of forcing you to go into the app or finding the product, it's really simple. If you're already on Chrome, you just share the link to the app. And again, the beautiful thing is the attention that I would be spending on Chrome when I'm shopping, it's a practice I would do anyway. You aim it at what someone would already do and you just plug your thing into it seamlessly. So they get value for minimum effort. That's the goal, and deep linking makes that a lot easier. Number 4, my personal favorite, emotional blackmail. You know the Eyal. Everyone knows the Eyal. It's really smart because it works with an emotional trigger. So I suppose this is also a part of their marketing by getting people that are trying to upskill themselves. But when you download the app, you're kind of making a contract that I want to learn a language. You've set a degree of a goal. When they notify you saying, hey, you've not done this, like, it actually makes you feel guilty, right? Because you set out to do something. And what's really cool is your goals are both aligned. I want to learn a language. It wants me to use the app, which makes me learn the language. So when they force me to do it, I don't feel like they're scamming me. I just want to block them. It's like, okay, you let them be a little bit more pushy with you. The point is, using it is helpful. And the day after I stopped and I might miss a day, they message me, hey, don't break your streak. Hey, don't break your streak. We froze your streak. They gamify it in some really cool ways, but it's also because they have such a long funnel of these emotional triggers. So it's kind of a two-part. There's a lot of external triggers, which is reminding you that you're missing something. But the only reason that actually works is because they're using the emotional element, which is you said you were going to do something, you're letting yourself down. So this only works if you have an app which genuinely benefits your user and they download it for a purpose. But a very cool way of doing it. Okay, in conclusion, I want to be clear, these are not ways to just hack your way into people's life. You kind of need to be providing value anyway. This is just something on top. As I said, off the rip, 50% of apps that get downloaded are not going to be used at all. It is difficult to cut through the noise. The important thing is adding value. If you don't have that, there's nothing to retain. But sometimes that's not enough and you got to play the psychology games. And that's what these are.